Good morning, everyone. My name is MightyStream, and I am going to do your spiritual principle a day in a meditation. You can reach me at recoveryofhope21@gmail.com. And we're going to do January 28th here. Can you see that? Oh, that print looks so small. Okay, January 28th. Let's see what we have. Practicing fidelity. As we practice honesty, integrity, and fidelity, we no longer have to keep track of our stories or cover our tracks. That comes from the Living Clean book, chapter 3, A Spiritual Journey. I feel like I want to reread that, but let's move forward. I was just speaking about that in the other meditation, wasn't I? About how some people tell little lies every other sentence, and they don't realize that they're even lying. And there's no need to lie, but they do it so naturally. And now here we are talking about honesty, practicing honesty, integrity, and fidelity. We no longer have to keep track of our stories or cover our tracks. See, and that's the freedom. When you're able to identify that you have a character defect of fear, you're able to see the fruit of that. Oftentimes, it's dishonesty, lack of integrity, and infidelity. Not faithful to self or others. Let's read it. While addiction puts a serious strain on our ability to maintain fidelity to the people who matter to us, recovery allows us to show up for our loved ones in ways we may never have thought possible. Freedom from active addiction takes away one incredibly large barrier to our fidelity, the use of drugs. Once the drugs are out of the way, it is common in early recovery to wonder why our family and friends may hesitate to trust us completely. As we stay clean longer and gain greater relief from self-centeredness, we began to see that the drugs weren't the only barrier to our fidelity. And we need more than simple abstinence to be able to truly be present for the people in our lives. If we focus more on what we're not doing, using drugs, cheating, stealing, telling blatant lies, it might be easy to think we are being more faithful and loyal in our relationships than we actually are. Our character defects, even when they aren't glaring, can still get in the way of our ability to truly connect to the people in our lives. Step 6 was eye-opening for me, a member wrote. I had a lousy track record with relationships, and I kept thinking I was just meeting all the wrong people. My sponsor helped me identify some character defects, and I realized it wasn't them. It was me. Thank goodness for step work. Putting our behavior under the step 6 microscope can be a bit nauseating at times, especially when we've been oblivious to a particular defect. It is disturbing to see it as a pattern and notice it in action again and again, as often happens when working step 6. That's true. The path to fidelity, to being who we want and need to be in our relationships, is in becoming entirely ready to let go of patterns that stand in the way and humbly asking for help in doing so. Practicing fidelity allows me to be the truest version of myself for those I love. With the help of my sponsor, I will work to bring the best of myself into my relationships today. That's valuable. That is a well thought out, written meditation. I want to take a moment of silence. I know we just took one, but let's take another moment of silence, followed by the we version of the Serenity Prayer, and then we will unpack this. Moment of silence now. Thank you. God, grant us the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, we cannot change, the courage to change the things that we can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Just for today, please and thank you. You know, it's more awkward for me to say the we version of the Serenity Prayer because most of the time I'm praying by myself. And so excuse me there, but it is a we program and we can do this. You know, practicing honesty, integrity, and fidelity. And I'm just amazed because when I did the Just for Today, I began to talk about character defects and being able to see ourselves coming down the road. And I want to make sure that the newer member understands that this is a process. And it could be a short process or it can be a long process. Pretty much you probably have an idea that you have some character defects. These are best defined as those things that you do, the reason you do certain things, your lack of a certain core value, your core D values. Let's put it like that. Your core D values. It's the easiest way to put it in modern day language because we're talking about core values versus core D values. A core value of mine today is integrity, responsibility. I'm a very responsible individual. If I tell you I'm going to do something, I make it my business to do it. If I am not able to do something, I take that very seriously and I make it my business to let you know. Okay. That's a core value of mine. You will see the essence of that core value in pretty much every interaction that I have with every human being or every project. I'm a responsible, integral individual. The opposite of that is a wishy-washy person. The D value of that is the lack of integrity, a dishonest, unfaithful, and infidelity. No loyalty to self or others, or maybe just loyalty to self, but definitely not others. Okay, and so what happens with that is that these individuals can make commitments and not keep them. They can tell you they're going to be somewhere and not show up. They could cheat on you in a relationship. They could have you think you're the husband or wife and actually have other husbands and wives, spiritually speaking, right? They're not faithful to anyone. So when we're talking about character defects and seeing yourself coming down the road, this usually is a process where you've done some step work. You've gotten to the point where now you are able to take that fifth step and say, okay, well, you've taken the work of the fifth step because you've written the fourth step and you've been able to see what patterns you have. When I'm under pressure, I cave in. When I'm under pressure, I begin to lie to get out of whatever I agreed to do. What is that? Okay, that's the action. That's the shortcoming. That's the thing that you do, but there's a devalue. There's a character defect that is causing you to do that. And you may be oblivious to the fact that you are a person that operates out of fear. Your faith level, you have faith for some things, but generally speaking, you're more of a faithless individual and a fearful person. So that is your devalue. That is your defect. That is where you operate out of. And so the fruit of that, the thing that people can see, would be the lying, would be maybe the cheating, would be maybe the kleptomaniac or the person that is shoplifting because they're so worried that they're not going to have what they need that they just take it. Am I making sense? So just like your core values, your character assets cause you to do certain things that people see and identify you as a loving person, faithful person, integral person. Just as that can be so, as then on the other side of it, of the coin, you have the defects that cause you to have behaviors that they can also see. Now, this is for the newcomer. I want to make sure that you understand that it doesn't take all day, doesn't take even a year to get through, as far as I'm concerned, your step work. It just depends on the work you want to do and how fast you want to do it. And if your sponsor will keep up with your desire. I never tell my sponsees, you need to work the steps. I might suggest it to them, but if you've asked me to sponsor you, I'm assuming you know that. I'm also assuming if you don't do them, you know that. I don't have to be the fire that's the person that's flaming your fire. It's a choice. And you can benefit or you cannot benefit, right? And so I'm trying to make sure the newcomer realizes that you can start to identify your character defects and how you operate, your mode of operation, by doing your step work and inviting your sponsor into your life to let you know, hey, I noticed a couple of times after the meeting that you told a couple of people you stopped smoking. And you and I both know you have not stopped smoking. You continue to try to stop smoking, but you have not stopped. Like, I'm trying to figure out, why are you lying? Why are you feeling pressured to say something that no one is even trying to keep track of? This is what I think. This is what I think. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think that your self-esteem is attached to your behaviors, and you personally feel bad about needing and wanting to smoke, knowing you've already lost significant people to lung cancer. You feel like you're betraying that relationship with them and how you lost them. And you personally internalize being able to stop smoking or smoking. You have a problem with smoking, but you have not been able to stop smoking. And so there's a pride issue involved. And when the discussion comes up, you project what you want to be doing. You're lying, but you are projecting what you want to be doing. This is a pride issue because you're making yourself seem as though you're something that you're not. Now, I don't mind if you're going to continue to lie about it, but I notice that I react to when I hear you lie. I notice my face changes when you lie in my presence because I know the truth. I'm your sponsor. I want you to practice on saying I haven't been able to completely stop yet, but I'm still trying. Or I really want to stop smoking. I've tried it a few times and I will get through a few days and then some stress will come and I'll go right back to it. I want you to practice on telling the truth now when that conversation comes up. Now, that's just something simple, okay? But if you can identify the core D value, you will be better able to identify what you need to bring to the table so that you can stop the behavior. My name is Mighty Stream. I've enjoyed talking to you today. I want you to practice fidelity, which will allow you to be your truest version of yourself for those that you say you love. And with the help of your sponsor, you can do the work to bring the best of yourself into your relationships today. And that, my friends, is fidelity. That is honesty. That is integrity. And you can do it. You can do it. I've enjoyed talking to you today. I hope that you have a beautiful day on purpose. I know that you will. I know that you will. Just think about it. When something comes your way and you're like, oh my goodness, this went to the left really, really fast. But Mighty Stream told me I have the power of decision on how I respond. And today, I'm going to bring my integral, faithful, loyal, positive self to the table. And I'm going to do that on purpose. Have a beautiful day. Talk to you soon.